The only way forward is through adventure. And the only way to maintain and keep hold of the authenticity that we finally recovered is through commitment. Thus, the conjunction that we're at through Sagittarius, seeking for what freedom means for us, Juno and Mars. Mars is hosting our initiative, our assertive interests, our will to initiate action behind the intent, to fully embody and express what we have realized being authentic really means finally for ourselves. Without the pairing of commitment, it doesn't mean anything. The commitment is where we remember that there are certain values. There are certain intentions. There's a certain meaning that we recovered that we must never forget, lest we betray ourselves and betray our own wisdom. Juno, conjunct Mars, is now seeking to harmonize what it will look like. What it will look like, ironically, is something we won't know until we take action. That's the point of the adventure in Sagittarius, is that it is not predictable. It is not something that we can draw out, something that we can place expectations on, but yet we know the path is forward. The movement must go forward from where we stand. Venus conjunct Black Moon Lilith has removed the chains that bound us to limitations in how we were to experience our approach to relationships and our approach to what we value in life, what we value in ourselves, and what we value in our identity, as well as what we see as worthy of our investment financially, and what we find worthy of investing our resources into or behind in order to create meaning in our life. Sagittarius, it is to embody finally that truth. That it's not just something that we say, it's not something we think, it's not something that we read about, but it's something that we express through our behavior, our convictions, the contagious zeal that we ignite and spread like a fire that consumes everything around it. Here it is, Juno and Mars. Our commitment is before us. Many will have the misunderstanding about Juno that its limitations and interpretation is about romantic ideals, marriage, monogamy, who we are committed to, not necessarily. At the foundation of it all, it reflects the commitment that we have to ourselves, the soul contract that we agreed to before we came here to this earth and materialized in the physical form of the biochemical spacesuit that responds to this reality that we are in. So, what is consistent with this commitment? The full moon Taurus is still unfolding over a 6-month course. Our values, what we value, what we are standing upon, where is our footing? With the unfolding of this full moon course, something is dissolving, and what dissolves the illusion of what we once used to value, of fictitious themes, theories, ideals, misconceptions of ourselves. We are weighing experience against it. And the soul realizes that we have to march on towards experiences, the vulnerabilities of experiences, the risks that are to be taken in those experiences in order to assist in that dissolve. And that dissolve is to get to the truth of what was behind those illusions. And we recover that through Scorpio. Looking forward, Juno and Mars. There's a dance between these two energies. I want the unpredictable air of space and opportunity, because I don't know where this is going to go with me test driving this new being, this new state of being that I am in my spirit. I don't know what to expect. I don't know exactly how I will affect the world or how others will affect me now that I have claimed who I am finally. I'm willing to learn. I'm willing to try. I'm willing to be vulnerable. And I know that somehow I will grow according to those experiences. But I have to commit to something or someone that reflects that intention. Something or someone that holds the values that I hold dear to myself as what makes me authentic. A partner in crime who wants to take risks with me, show me, explain to me, or take the chances with me, testing every food, trying every ride, daring each other to take risk on every adventure. And as long as there is commitment with these risks that I'm taking, it's not in vain. I get an examination, I get a test in resilience, ultimately, based on how I'm using my freedom between these two forces of Juno and Mars. Resilience is the pathway. When we take risks, when we're willing to go on an adventure through the soul, resilience becomes the theme that we're passing through. Because ultimately we're exposed to what is true, what is real. What are the consequences? What are the results? How did I react? How did I respond? And all of this helps us to form the image, or to realize the form of the image of the true and authentic self, which is not in the physical flesh, but it is in the spirit. And that image of the spirit is only revealed in the decisions that we make and that which we endure and commit to time and time again. Resilience has to stamp what is or is not true or authentic about the self. Therefore, adventure is required. When the pressure is on, when the challenges are there, when resilience and disillusionment shows its head, where are the areas where I will stay? Where are the areas where I will flee? We, ourselves, will clarify who we are at the 10th house. The 9th house, or Sagittarius, it forwards to the 10th house. It is to build the character. It is to build the reputation. It is to build the status of the being. In fact, it rises to the MC, the midheaven, which is the notoriety that comes as consequence or result or even reward of claiming a status of salvation through the water trine. So salvation through the water trine is what we've been working through at the triplicity of Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces, which I've clarified recently. But we should know in our intention that between the balance of taking risk through Juno's commitment and Mars initiating our impulse towards adventure, it's all about what we are forming of the image, the status and character of the 10th house, and it's going towards a revelation of what is our capacity. What is our capacity to fulfill duties, obligations, responsibilities, expectations at the 10th house? Because the claim of the self is not relevant until we know these things. The image of the self is not clear until we know these things. Our spiritual image is the 10th house. It's your reputation. It's what you are known for doing or not doing. It is what you are known to fulfill or not fulfill. It is what people say of you when you are not around. It is the record of your responsibilities and duties and who you were concerning it. It is your status. So this is what we're working toward from Sagittarius stellium. And when the stellium gets to Capricorn, the concentration will be, now that I have this image, this reputation, this character, this notoriety, I now can work toward what is possible as opportunity toward the 11th house Aquarius. Understand? So every time the stellium is in a particular sign, it's working toward the manifestation of the following sign. So we're coming out of the 8th house, aligning with truth, recovering truth, the sincerity. And that's where we embody the philosophy that we have found and confirmed. That is where we demonstrate the student and the teacher dynamic. I was a student of such and such lessons, karmically. I was a teacher of such and such lessons, karmically. And this is my image, this is my being. But that has to show and prove. Only through Sagittarius we show and prove. And that showing and proving, it forms the image or the character of the 10th house. Okay? So this should be clear. This is where we're headed next. So, what is the sign, status, or impulses of your 10th house? It's time now to understand that we are headed toward the process that forms the character. The 6th house is involved with this. It is involved with everything of the chart on a daily basis because it is the regulation of time. The regulation of time. It is what you do over and over again in repetition. That is what forms the character. It is the details that imprints the character. That which you do over and over again. South Node Virgo. It's a reason why this takes place now. We are shifting what character we are striving for. Because we are changing the requirements of character. As it is no longer corporate, it is now humanitarian. The context of character must be humanitarian, not corporate. The 10th house used to have an interpretation of corporate context. Now, it is interpretation of humanitarian status and influence that we should have at the 11th house. Understand. This is a place where you want to have personal insights into what it means for you, what you can expect as the stellium shifts from 8th house to 9th house, what you are preparing for at the 10th house, and what intention should go behind that. What are the challenges en route to that? And what is the specific timeline that you should anticipate in this whole ideal and process? Also, as it relates to relationships, Mars conjunct Juno, the 7th and 8th house, as well as the 1st house. These are two places where there's an impulse to take action on new experiences, new opportunities, new directions that allows you to expand your identity, your wisdom, your awareness, and your understanding of how life works from this particular set of consciousness that we have recovered, that has an underlying intention of Cancer Jupiter, which is, I found and recovered my matriarchal status within myself, and I'm ready to serve with it. This is an impulse ultimately to love, to heal, and to expand. That through service. Aquarius, Pluto. Understand that. Now, this combination of Sagittarius, Juno, Sagittarius, Mars conjunction, and even the stellium that's going to be passing through Sagittarius at the 9th house in Sagittarius. This is going to bring to the nation, or nations, plural, religious zeal. It's going to rise the zealous state of those who are devoted and committed to religions. As Juno is passing through Sagittarius, it's establishing a commitment of the people to particular religious directions based on what could be their findings, their discoveries, their studies, or just simply influence. Through Sagittarius, Mars is going to make such persons more committed, Juno, to discovering and uncovering truth, evidence, conviction, based on what they have already committed themselves to. Because Juno went first, not Mars. So Mars is more of, I need to understand this, what I have got myself into. I need to be able to articulate it. I need to be able to know for myself what this is about. I need to be able to embody this walk or this life. So it can raise the zeal, the spirit of zeal in individuals who then would take their religious point of views, perspectives, and convictions and argue, debate, challenge, test, go on long reaches of discovery in order to come to conclusions in which they feel prepared to go toe-to-toe with other people about it. And we can't be lazy and say, oh, I just don't understand religious people and they, we don't need that. And, it's just futile and stupid to argue. No, that's lazy. Argument is how we advance. It's how we improve. It's how we sharpen swords. It is productive that there's conflict. It's productive that there's drama. It's productive that there's fights. It's productive that there's war. You can't advance without these so-called negative aspects. You can't be delusional and just, light, namaste, positive vibes only the light. No, there has to be challenge, drama, argument, fire, passion, and there has to be the fair opportunity of the ignorant and the enlightened, the impressionable, and the leaders, the scholars, and the students. This is the ninth house. This is what it's about in the ninth house. Beliefs. Beliefs in conflict, beliefs in passion, beliefs in expression, beliefs in intensification as the stellium passes through. And most of this through application of such. Learning from those who know more than you. Becoming a student to those who are well-versed or knowledgeable or who understand things deeper than you do. As the ninth house represents understanding. In the same way that Scorpio represents wisdom. Understand? So we're going from wisdom into understanding. Scorpio into Sagittarius. And understanding requires experience to see the bigger picture, to see the whole perspective. So it can start with religious discovery and examination. And what it can lead to is finding that there's a unity in all things rather than separation. But it has to start somewhere. We already see this going on in the nation, where Christian nationalism, Zionism, is on Netanyahu's budget. It's on our government's budget to push and promote it for their own commercial reasons. There's also the propaganda against Islam Muslims. So between these two communities, there can stand to be an intensification. And for those who are bystanders of this intensification, it can provoke or inspire discovery. Discovery. And that discovery leading to understanding, which sees greater perspective towards unification rather than division. The ignorance and fear that causes division. As it relates to Capricorn, when the stellium gets to Capricorn, it gets more esoteric than it does religious. And in esoteric, this goes into secret societies, symbolism, occult, higher degrees of metaphysics that the people may realize is behind religious missionaries and orders in society, and how it ties to principalities in high places, which also includes governmental agendas. So step 1, step 2, step 3. The ninth house being a place where we embody what we have come to understand, or we are seeking greater understanding through experience. Chiron is well involved and well invested in the identity. Through this, we will be teaching through what we have suffered. And we also will be receiving wisdom from other sufferings and what they have brought down as revelation from their Chiron. Understand this. So, with that being said, this is a time for the opening of the minds. This is a time for receptivity. This is a time for action, not talking. Taking chances, taking risk. After all, we just had the new moon Scorpio. The new moon Scorpio takes 6 months to fill that bag into a full moon Scorpio. So we're putting experience into that bag that has to be transmuted. Extracting truth from struggle. Extracting truth from experiences and challenges of resilience and disillusionment through the risks and chances we take in new experiences and adventures through Sagittarius. So Sagittarius stellium and Capricorn stellium, and possibly Aquarius stellium as well. These are the experiences that's going to go into the full moon culmination of Scorpio full moon when we get there, by which we'll extract the wisdom out of that. That leads to the empowerment of the new self in that full moon. Understand? At the same time, simultaneously, we are closing a full moon of Taurus, which is allowing experience, verification of experience, and expansion of understanding to reconfigure how we relate to our value system and what we take value in. So through Sagittarius, these things must be done. Understand? Although commitment is there in Sagittarius, you will be making a grave mistake to think that you're getting ready to possess somebody, own somebody, dominate somebody, control somebody. If you have toxic emotional circumstances in yourself by which you're trying to take ownership of somebody's identity, control a person, and project all of these insecurities and those different things, you're going to have a hard time. Because Juno Sagittarius is devoted to its own expression of freedom. Don't question me. Don't try to control me. You're not going to rule me. Don't worry about why I didn't call you back or text you back or didn't do this or didn't do that. If you try that with Sagittarius energy, all you're going to do is drive people off. Because it's not about possession and control such as it was with Scorpio. It's about the experience that you can have through other persons who have unique attributes about themselves that can lead to the expansion of your understanding and confirming what you should understand about yourself and the reality that has renewed itself to you in clarity based on the truth that you braved enough to align with. Understand? Now, last and not least, don't forget who the Lord Sagittarius is. Jupiter. Where is Jupiter? Jupiter is internally through retrograde, invested into your inner child, the commitment to your inner child. It's expanding the awareness of your inner child, the positivity that you enforce to yourself, the encouragement that you give to your inner child, the creativity that you absorb through the connection of your inner child, and the memory of the moral commitment and expression of your freedom, to never betray it, to never forget it, to never leave it behind or compromise, or especially sell it. It is to keep sight of that, to also know where you come from. Cancer, 4th house, your ancestral memory, heritage, legacy, that your freedom is to honor or correct. Let's not forget that. Cancer, Jupiter. Understand, do not forget that. That's the anchor. Also, Jupiter co-ruling Pisces, Saturn, just kicking into direct motion, not forgetting the karmic lessons that you learn. There's no victims. Accountability is how we remain secure in a place of integrity. It's how we keep our reputation. It's how we keep our face. It's how we earn trust. It's how we maintain trust. is how we preserve trust. And these are 8th house themes. It is also how we proceed en route to what we expect, what we believe in, that we will work for it, that we will put our best foot forward, and we will invest whatever it takes of commitment and sacrifice if we are to expect or anticipate a particular outcome in any venture. There's no entitlement, no assumption of entitlement. What are you willing to work for? What are you going to get off your ass to do? And relationships must be managed by all involved, not the burden of such put on somebody else to roll up their sleeves and get grease on it, changing brakes, changing starters, rotating the tires and getting the oil change, and you ain't never did a damn thing on a relationship. You can expect what you work for. Understand that. Also, escapism. Addictions. Indulgence. Distractions. No. Venus is transiting with the sun, but she will not spoil the sun because she does not make contact with the sun as we pass through Sagittarius. That's for a reason. Stay sober. Don't turn into a fucking crackhead again, you heard?